Hello everyone and welcome back to the CJCNS, roll the intro.
Whoa! I hate to have to interrupt this with some breaking news. As I was pressing the upload button to post this video, Geraint Thomas crashed out of the Tour de Suisse and it looks like he's abandoned and he potentially might be out of the Tour de France. Now initially there was pictures circulating across Twitter with G holding his shoulder. Potentially it looked like a collarbone might have been broken. However, with this video that we found on Twitter, you can clearly see that G is moving his arms around quite freely. If you broke your shoulder, you broke your elbow, broke your collarbone, he's not going to be moving as free as this. One thing I did find strange on this is the fact that they got him out of his jersey so quick and put him into a long sleeve jersey. Whether that was just to make sure he was not losing any body temperature. However, the risk to his potential collarbone breakage or AC joint or anything in the shoulder area, I'm surprised that they even thought about doing it. But you can see from the video, he's got some superficial damage on his back, a bit of road rash. It looks like he's banged his head because he's got a plaster on his head. But ultimately, fingers crossed, G is going to be all right. But how that's going to affect his preparation coming into the Tour de France, we're not too sure because it's not too far away. So hopefully the majority of his graft has been done. And this probably was just getting him race ready, race prepped for the Tour de France. How much form is he going to lose between now and then? If he does make it to the Tour de France, who knows? This week hasn't been a great week for Team Ineos. Losing Froome last week to that huge, horrific crash. Potentially losing G today. I bet they just phoned Egan Bernal and they were like, mate, sit yourself down, wrap yourself in cotton wool. Do not move for the next couple of weeks. We need you in France. Anyway, back to the other news that probably isn't quite as relevant as this one and clearly probably not as good now.
So coming up on today's Cameron Jeffers Cycling News Show, Geraint are going to be moving their operations from...
Excuse me?
Can I help you?
What's all this?
How did you get past security? You're alright, can I help you?
Who's this guy?
Cameron, nice to meet you.
Unbelievable. Nice to meet you, sir. Are you Cameron Jeffers from the YouTube channel?
I am, yeah. What are you doing here?
Well,
I'm trying to present my new show.
This is my new show, so you can Cameron Jeffers, everybody, give it up! Yay!
Can we put some sound in the background?
I'll put some sound effects on that. Shall we do this together then, seeing as you're here?
Let's do it.
What are we talking about?
Coming up on today's show, we're going to be talking about Geraint, the big news story out of Geraint. They're going to be moving their operations from China into Taiwan.
Why is that?
Trump.
There you go. That's the news. So the news coming out from Geraint is they're moving their manufacturing plant all the way from China across to Taiwan. So according to Bloomberg, the world's biggest bicycle manufacturer started moving their production of the US bound orders across from China facility to a brand new base over in Taiwan once it heard that Donald Trump threatened tariff action back in September. Chairwoman Body 2 said that when Trump announced the plan of the 25% tariffs, we took it seriously. We started moving before he shut his mouth. And this news comes as Geraint shares soared 9.8% on Monday, which is their biggest gain ever after the company said it expects a quarter of its revenue this year to come from e-bikes. The stock, which doesn't carry a single sell rating from none of this, mate. Listen, I'm reading this, but none of it makes sense. All I'm saying is Geraint have moved away from China to Taiwan to make sure that they don't get hit by a huge 25% tariff that Donald Trump is looking to put on them. So there you go, Trump screwing up everybody once again. Cam, what else is happening in the world of professional cycling?
3 riders from EF Education took on the Dirty Kanza, which is a 200-mile bike ride over gravel, dirt. It's self-supported. That was Alex Howes, Taylor Finney, and Lachlan Morton. As part of their diverse calendar, I think they call it, part of their sponsorship with Rafa. Oh, nice. So they made a pretty cool video of that. Check it out. Link's going to be in the description box down below.
Do you know anybody else that rode Dirty Kanza?
Peter Stettiner. He got second.
I don't know who he is. I was referring to your mate.
Which one?
The vegan.
Oh, okay, yeah, vegan.
We're still waiting for that video though, aren't we?
Rafa produced the video quicker than the vegan.
Come on, vegan, sort your stuff out. What else have you got to do? Come on. You want to see this video from Dirty Kanza? You went on about it so much. Did you see his Instagram story? The one where he missed 10 planes, had to end up flying via Mars, and then over to the UK and then back.
I think he had to walk in the end.
Yeah, I think he did. It was quicker to walk. What else is going on? Matt Stevens Matt Stevens has done a ramp test. Again, link in the description down below. You told me the results and I was quite surprised at how well he actually went for an old guy.
Yeah, but I mean, you call him an old guy. He's been a professional for 15, 20 years, hasn't he, of his life?
Yeah, but still, you think, you know, look at Dan Lloyd. He struggled. And then he did that like 10-week, 6-week fitness thing and came back, and my FTP was better than it.
I think Matt keeps himself in shape though. I mean, every now and again I see his Instagram stories of him riding on Zwift, or I know when he's presenting at the races, he's always riding around in his Brompton everywhere. So I think he keeps himself active.
Maybe. What else is going on?
Dunno.
Look over there. Also in the news, yesterday saw the very first ever one-day race up Mont Ventoux. It was 185k, something like that. 171k in total.
A 21.3 kilometre climb, an average gradient of 7.4% is what the riders were faced with to cross the line at the top.
Who won?
Jesus Harada.
Jesus?
Jesus.
Is it not Jesus?
Jesus.
I'm going to say Jesus Harada.
It looks like Jesus, baby Jesus. He won in a time of 50 minutes and 26 seconds. Wait.
He's right. The overall time at Mont Ventoux was 50 minutes.
50 minutes.
It didn't take him 50 minutes to cover 180.
No, the Mont Ventoux was 50 minutes and 26 seconds. That was still about 4.5 minutes slower than Pantani's fastest ever time, which is the record up Mont Ventoux in 46 minutes.
Wow.
Do you know what that means, Chris?
That they were faster back then?
Yeah, riders have just got slower.
Wonder why that is. Any idea? Heavier machinery?
Also in the cycling internet news this week, Francis Cade finishes his journey around Europe. He took on 3,000 kilometres and climbed approximately 40,000 metres in aid of the Movember Foundation. They raised in total, him and the other guys, nearly £8,500.
Yeah, that's not bad, is it?
That's quite a lot of money.
Have you donated?
I have, yeah.
He's lying out of his ball sack there. He hasn't donated, but he's now going to donate.
I am going to donate.
And if you want to donate, the link is in the description. I, however, haven't donated because I like to annoy my wife by growing a moustache in November.
Yeah?
Yeah, so rather than donating to his charity, I will be partaking in Movember.
So give some money to Francis, but also save a little bit of money for Chris's foundation, for Chris's
foundation. No, yeah, we should start my own foundation. I'll grow a tash and then I can get a brand new camera. I can also maybe, I don't know, get a new bike.
Horrific.
Here's a story for you, Chris.
Here's a story for you, Chris.
Go on.
Apparently, 30-mile-per-hour cyclists are more alarming to the general public than a 50-mile-per-hour car doing 10 miles per hour over the speed limit and a 30 speed limit and a 40 speed limit. I don't know. So
this is the story coming out of Cycling Weekly, where people are saying that they're more alarmed by people on pedal bikes doing 30 to 35 mile an hour.
Which, if you're doing 35 mile an hour, fair play to you. Like,
they're more worried about people on a carbon bike who are very aware of their surroundings, who understand the risk that they're taking, are more alarmed than a car driver doing 50 in a 40.
Which is like a 2-ton piece of metal.
Yeah, which is, if 10 mile an hour over the limit, that's going to kill someone. Even at 40 mile an hour, it's going to kill someone. But what are they even on it? Like, it's not a built up area. It's obviously a time trial route. It must be a time trial route. If you're riding 35 mile an hour, you must be on a time trial bike doing a time trial. So they're doing it out in the wilderness, out in the middle of nowhere. Who's crossing the road there and not being aware of their surroundings?
It'll be some like old farmer called Jeff that...
Jesus. His name's Jeff.
Yeah, my name's Jeff.
That's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Like, all right, the bikes don't make any noise, but nowadays there's so many electric cars out on the road. A car doing 50 mile an hour ain't going to make as much noise as a...
If a Tesla hits you at 50, for a start, you're not going to hear it coming.
Exactly.
And secondly, you're a goner.
Idiot.
I think it's just another case of, trying to put a bad reputation on cyclists when there doesn't need to be.
How can, in any world, can you say it's more dangerous for us to have cyclists on the road doing that speed, doing 30 mile an hour, than it is having a car doing 50 mile an hour?
Welcome to the UK.
Leave a comment below, let us know what you think. Is that the most mental thing you have ever heard? So the next story we'll cover is quite apt, seeing as we've got the British e-racing national champion currently, Cameron Jeffers. Esports are becoming a huge industry. By the end of 2019, esports is reportedly going to be worth a £1.2 billion industry. Yeah, and we're currently racing on CV Arcade, which has got a small prize pot when you compare it to some of the big events now. You've got $1 million first prize. It's unbelievable. Do we think that cycling's going to take a chunk of that 1.2 billion?
I hope so. If I'm the esports national champion, I want a slice of that pie.
Have you been paid yet?
No.
Awkward. But what do you think to it?
I think it's great. I think it's a simple case of innovation. You know, there's times have changed. You no longer need to go out and work 8 hours a day in a factory. You can sit at home, play video games well to an audience in competitions and get paid good money for it. You know, if people want, it's a simple case of supply and demand. If there's children, adults out there that want to watch competitive gaming, whether that's racing on your bike, playing Fortnite on your Xbox, you know, if there's an audience there, then people are going to supply that demand, and you know, in return, it's going to be a bloody rich industry, isn't it?
Do you think, though, that our type of esport, where the fact that we're physically exerting ourselves on our bike, is going to be more appealing down the line?
I think it's too early to say.
Right. Do you think it might?
I hope. Yeah, I think it will. I think it will. I know from my own videos, all of the Zwift videos, a couple of them are over 1 million views now, and a lot of the comments on there are people saying, they'll comment at the start of the video like, "Why the hell has this been recommended to me by YouTube?" And then they'll sub-comment that and be like, 20 minutes later, still watching, thinking, "WTF am I watching?" 1 hour later, I've just watched the full race.
Go on, Cam.
So I think it is interesting. It does engage people, especially when they start to back a certain rider.
Yeah.
They kind of feel like they're part of it as well. And I think also they can see, you know, they've got the power data, your heart rate. They can see in real time exactly how hard you're trying. And I think that's really appealing to the viewers.
What one thing do you think needs to change, or what do we need to add to it to make it grow?
I think, especially on the live broadcast, every athlete racing in a race has to have a webcam showing their physical exertion. You know, you watch Call of Duty, you watch Fortnite, eSports, each of the contestants has webcams on their face, and you can see exactly in real time kind of what they're doing. Yeah. And I think, it just makes it look a little bit more realistic and also engaging, because the viewer can relate to how hard 400 watts looks like on a climb. Yeah,
true. Would you rather be eSports national champion on your bike, or British national League of Legends champion?
League of Legends, because I don't have to try as hard.
Yeah, good point.
Physically.
Do we think it's going to bring in a crowd of non-cycling fans that are going to transfer into cycling, cyclists, with the chance to be able to make a name for themselves in that industry?
Definitely. I mean, it already is starting to. You know, when last week in the broadcast, there was like 3,000 people watching live on Mixer, which is an esports live streaming platform. You know, and a large majority of them, you can see by the comments that they're not cyclists, that they're your conventional gamers, but they're just intrigued by this new concept.
I did look at the analytics though, and what I noticed that there was a massive drop off every time my face appeared on the stream. I don't know why that was.
It's because you've got grey hairs growing, mate.
Thanks, mate. Leave a comment below, let us know what you think, because you know we're massive fans of Zwift, CV Arcade, anything that involves cycling and racing online. So it'd be good to get your thoughts on it and see what you think to it. Do you think it'll be part of that 1.2 billion industry, or do you think it'll sit on its own and not really grow as big as we are kind of hoping it's going to? And finally, the best part of the show, we're going to go through the comments. But today, because Cam's here, we're going to play a little bit of a game with him. I'm going to read some comments out that I've taken from the internet, and we're going to work out whether they're comments left on Cam's channel or somebody else's channel. You up for that, Cam?
Let's do it.
First comment. Is this from yours or somebody else's? And if it's not yours, who do you think it's from? This is the comment. Best way to get a new bike, #fake crash.
It's your new show, isn't it?
It's my new show. Pretty cocky to drop out of a crit because racing for 15th place isn't good enough for you. I bet you just didn't have the legs, just like in the other crits.
Definitely one of my old videos.
That's from one of Cam's old videos, yeah, well done. Definitely my favourite channel to pop into my recommendation. I don't even own a bike, but love watching this stuff. Keep it up, dude.
I want to say mine, but it's probably not. Francis Cades. Yours.
Ash Beaches.
Ash Beach.
This video is just a bunch of non-vegan excuses. Is that from your channel or somebody else's?
Mine.
Yeah, he's good at this. He's really good at this.
Because I read the comments.
How about this one? This is easily the best channel on YouTube. I would love to see a little more violence, misogyny and inappropriate behaviour.
Oh, that was on your channel. I saw that comment yesterday.
Yeah, it was my channel. So while we're here as well, I don't know if you noticed, but Cam never replies to any of his comments. Unless it's just a thumbs up. And if it's a thumbs up, chances are it's not come from him. Here's a good question, and a legit question that everybody probably wants to know. How come no race footage on this channel anymore?
Because a large majority of my racing is done in the UK. You mean like on-board footage?
Yeah, I presume
because
so.
a large majority of my racing is in the UK, and unfortunately British Cycling don't allow you to use an onboard camera.
There you go. But if we're in America...
Or Australia, or Belgium...
Or Holland, or France, or Spain, or Portugal, or Iran, or North Korea, you could probably use a camera. Yeah, but not here in...
No, hopefully in the near future the rules will be changed, but as it stands, GoPros aren't allowed in racing. So, you know, I've got to respect the rules, and yeah.
Every now and again, yeah. Hey Cam, any tips about how to learn the rollers? I'm struggling for time and I'm easily bored on the turbo and have no space or money for Zwift. Cheers.
Fair enough. Yeah, easily put your rollers between a door,
Door frame.
a door frame, that's the word I was looking for. And yeah, literally just start with one hand on the wall, start pedaling, and it's all about pedaling in a circular motion. So naturally you might pedal quite choppy, or in triangles we call it. And when you do that, your front wheel's going to go from side to side, but when you start pedaling in a more circle, fluid rotation, your front wheel won't chop side to side, and before you know it, you'll be able to take your other hand off the door well, and you'll be able to ride the rollers. It's a case of just practice. Like, there's no real secret to riding the rollers. You get the feel for it, and then you'll never look back.
Yeah. Did you bring any socks?
I have not brought any socks.
It seems everybody else in the whole wide world has got a set of CJ Pongo socks.
You don't have any?
No. The FU Crew channel asked this. You are wearing a Chicago hoodie, my hometown. Were you here? If so, when? And when will you be back? Keep up the great work.
I've never been to Chicago, no.
All right.
I've never been to the States.
Never?
Never.
You need to sort that out. It's a good place to go.
If any company wants to sponsor me a trip to there, then feel free to get in touch, but no.
Wow. Good idea. Elton John is a wanker. Couldn't top the bill at Live Aid and sulked. Thinks he's above everyone. That's on your channel.
Yeah, because I went to watch Rocket Man.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I should definitely watch your vlogs. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. You've already subscribed to his channel. Of course you have. Everybody has. If you haven't bought one of these t-shirts yet, link in the description. Go and buy one. I don't get anything out of it, apart from putting a smile on his face when he gets to put fuel in his brand new BMW.
See you in the next one. Bang!